Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Whatever the I Want podcast, where our host, Gaby, gets to talk about whatever the I want. And today's episode is going to be about putting yourself first. So I'm showing up today as I am. I came back from the gym. I haven't even changed out of my workout clothes, and we're here, we showed up, and that's what matters. I mean, I really didn't want to go to the gym. I was very tired this morning. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like an hour or two that I slept in because I didn't get a good night's rest. And I'm like, do I even want to go to the gym? Are any machines going to even be available that I want? I started getting in my head, and I'm like, relax, Gaby. So I started my morning routine. I did my simple abundance reading. I journaled. I even did a tarot reading for myself. And it really helped change my mood. And even whenever I was lifting weights, I wasn't necessarily lifting heavier than I normally do. If anything, I would say I was maybe lifting about what I normally do, or even like a little bit lighter, and then just doing higher reps throughout my workout because I am on my cycle. And while I was reading on the treadmill, there's a book that I started this past week. It's called Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. And I hadn't gotten lost in a book in a while. I promise this will all make sense in a little bit. I hadn't gotten lost in a book in a long time. And my goal for the year was to read books that I already had. That way I could minimize my waste and like physical waste. Not that buying books is a waste, but I am just trying to minimize and just trying to be more intentional about what it is that I buy. So I rented the book off of Libby, and in the book, it's really taught me a lot about myself and just reiterated things that I've already known. And one of the things was putting yourself first. In the book, the main character is a girl, and she basically raised her mom whenever her mom was around. She always put her mom's needs before her own, and it really made her detach from relationships, and she just kept like a really, really big wall up. And the way that she describes it was that she has an island. In this island, she has a wall up. It's very hard for people to get into this island, and for the most part, she has like one solid person on this island. And she even describes how when she starts to feel small, she just feels her world closing in. And I thought that was such a really good example of what like anxiety feels like. You just feel like the world is closing in on you, and you really do start to make yourself small, even physically. You're like hunching over, you're, just, I don't know if it's just the fetal position or what, but it just makes you feel more comfortable. Like you really do make yourself like shrivel up to be as small as possible, I guess, to not feel like you're a burden to anybody. But in the book, she starts overcoming the way that she would put her mom and everybody else's needs before her own. She starts realizing it's time for me to put myself first. And I think in a lot of ways, I have put myself first by going to the gym because it's something that feels good for me. And honestly, I highly recommend physical activity for everybody. Everybody should be moving their body every single day, whether it be running, swimming, hiking, like whatever it is that gets you to move. I really want to take salsa classes. I think that would be so much fun, taking like some type of dancing class to also help me move my body. Women also store a lot of trauma in their hips, and so that's why it's really cathartic for women to be doing yoga or to be stretching out their hips, because our hips hold a lot, So I really recommend moving your body in whatever way feels good for you. And I also think it's just important to prioritize yourself in your daily routine, because we so often get so caught up in our own lives that we put on so many hats, and we allow those hats to weigh us down and to define us. Well, I am a mom, I am a daughter, I am a sister, I am this, I am that. And then you really start to lose your sense of self because you're wearing all of these other hats. But it's like, who are you at your core? What are your hobbies at your core? What are your wants? What are your desires? What are your needs? And I think we overexert ourselves a lot. I think in general, people can do it, but I think especially women overexert themselves because we feel like If we complain, oh, it's just a woman complaining. Oh, well, if we cry, oh, it's just a woman being sensitive. And there's just this huge stigma or like hate towards women for literally just being exactly how we are. Yet people want to profit off of that. Like, people love women, but they also love to hate women. You get what I'm saying? Like, men, I'm generalizing here, but like, you know, men will go to Hooters to like look at a woman's body, but they won't fight for women's rights. Okay. So I just feel like there's just this huge disconnect. Like, women back then were idolized, you know, women were a part of this really big community, and women were at the top. And over time, we've allowed society and people to push us further down and to make us feel so small and as if we don't have a name for ourselves, when we totally do. Women are honestly like one of the most powerful beings on the planet. The fact that we can create life, we are the most intuitive creatures that exist. We are earth in human form. Women are, I mean, it's just crazy to think all that a woman is capable of when she knows that she's capable of it. Whenever somebody is told that they can't do something, they believe it. They will start to believe it, and they will get in their own way. And when a woman realizes and steps into her power, she's the most powerful human being that there could ever be. A woman knowing her self-worth is chef's kiss. You should know your self-worth. It is a journey to come back to it, because whenever we're kids, we don't question the world around us. We just live. We're very present. But over time, you know, you think about bills, you think about, you know, like the mortgage, and, you know, just life stresses you out. People start projecting their own opinions and feelings onto you, and it really hinders your self-worth. So going back to putting yourself first, you need to realize when you are putting other people before you. Oh, I don't know what I want to eat. I don't care. If deep down you really do, why are you saying that? Why are you saying that you don't care when you do? And if you want Indian food, put your foot down and say that. I want Indian food. Let's go get it. And I started to realize how much I used to be like that. And I still am like that. I'm not the type to just be like, oh, I don't care. I don't care. I will let you know if I do or if I don't want something. And I was realizing this yesterday during a meditation session. I have been the type of person who is like, I get what I want. Like, every single relationship I've ever had has been me pretty much approaching the guy first and saying like, hey, like, what's going to happen? Like, are we going to hang out? Are we going to go on a date? Like, what's going on? What's the plan? Like, I am the type to initiate a lot of these things. And I know that it just is more natural for me compared to other women. And I do think that, like, obviously, don't chase, attract, but also, like, if you want something, get up and go for it. Like, and don't take no for a fucking answer. And I think we find ourselves putting other people before us, especially in circumstances where you almost like have to share. Like, as a mom, you feel like you're forced to share the food on your plate, even though you might have asked your child, like, hey, are you hungry? And they're like, no. And then 15 minutes later, they see you with the sandwich and they're like, Mom, I'm hungry. And you're like, well, I just asked. And so I totally understand if a parent is like, give me 10 minutes. Let me finish my food. Remember, I asked you earlier, you know, if you wanted something, okay, be patient. Like, I will get to it whenever I get to it. But like, if sometimes you need to like close yourself into a room and just breathe, and you have to do that for the sake of not exploding, of not having a mental breakdown, you need to do those things. You need to catch these things as they're happening. Whenever you feel your nervous system dysregulating, it can be through anxiety, it can be through physical things like hair loss, weight change, binge eating, things like that. You might not realize these things are happening subconsciously, but they appear in the 3D world. So it could be, oh, the other day I was having a rough day. I was having a rough morning. I was sad. I was crying. I was cleaning the house. And then I ended up hitting my head on like a shelf, like on a shelf. And it was one of those things that reminded me that whenever you're in a low vibration, whenever you're overwhelmed and you're getting in your head a lot, it will manifest itself in the 3D. Like I physically ended up hitting myself on accident. And then I'm like, okay, Gabby, chill. Like I remember one time I was moving out of an apartment that I lived at in Gainesville, and I was so overwhelmed, so exhausted, so tired. And then a bee stung me on my face. I was like, you fucking kidding me? And I just laid on the bed and just cried and cried and cried. I was so defeated, and I didn't realize at the time how much I was overexerting myself. And I think that we do that a lot. And I'm not sure where we got this mentality. I don't know where it originated, but I know that as women, we feel like we have to take on so many roles, and we feel like we can't complain about it. We can't talk about our feelings. We have to just keep it all quiet or else we're just being a woman if we, speak about our emotions. So it's about taking that power back. Like I can only give to you what I have poured into myself. If I have an empty cup, how am I able to give to other people? You physically can't. You cannot give to other people if you have not given to yourself. So that's why it's okay to say no. Say no to going to places. If you don't want to go out to eat with your friend, tell them I can't. I don't feel like it. I'm not up for it. I need to relax. I think, I've seen my parents do this a lot where they're just so busy during the week, on top of their regular schedules. They do so much for their grandkids. And then, maybe somebody has like car troubles or something. And then by the time it's the weekend. And then on the weekend, they're still hosting people. And then they're having parties and they're doing this. And then I just see them get so tired. And I'm like, but I watched you overexert yourself all of this time. Where have you spent any time sitting and just like decompressing? Because you have to decompress after every single day. After a long day, this is why showering is such a healing thing. You need to be unwinding. And that's not just sitting on your phone and scrolling. It's pouring into your cup. What does that look like? It could look like a hot cup of tea. It could look like a warm bath. It could look like maybe asking your partner for a back massage. It could look like painting your nails. It could look like dermaplaning your face. I mean, I don't know, doing a hair mask. There's so many things that you can do that help you feel good about yourself and that allow you to really take care of your body, because you should be taking care of your body mentally, physically, and emotionally. And figure out what are those things that can help you check that off of that list. Physically, hair mask, face mask. Mentally, doing a dump on your journal. You're just like, okay, this is all that stressed me out today. Emotionally, talking to your partner or talking to a friend about what it is that's stressing you out or what happened during your day. It doesn't necessarily have to be anything negative, but like, okay, what was your high and low of the day? Okay, let's talk about it. My mom got me this deck of cards called an impact deck. And basically in it are cards and questions and even affirmations. And every so often I like to go in there and answer some of them. It'll be like, what is a childhood dream of yours that you wish that you could fulfill now? And it really gives you the space to reflect. You should really be spending a lot of time reflecting. And for me, pouring back into myself is doing tarot readings, is lighting incense, is taking a hot shower every single day, brushing my teeth before bed. Like, routines are so necessary. As much as you have a routine for your family and for your friends and for work or school, you need to be having a routine for yourself. That way you can be able to go about your day without feeling like, how am I going to do this? You should not be starting your day drained. That's not how this works. Because if you do that, you're just going to fall into a pattern. And then eventually you're going to end up being depressed and resenting people. You need to be pouring into yourself first before you can pour into other people, because that's just the way life works. I really hope that this episode encourages you to prioritize yourself, because if you do not do that, nobody else will. Speak up for yourself. Tell your partner, tell your friends, tell your boss, tell the people around you, I can't, mentally, I'm not able to. If you do not use your voice, no one will know. People are not mind readers, and people should not be expected to read your mind. Oh, well, you should already know what I'm thinking. Does my attitude not tell you enough? And it's like, what? First of all, take a deep breath. I have to remind myself that a lot. Just take a deep breath, girl. Okay. And watch the way you talk to people, because sometimes I do realize that I can have a very strong tone of voice and have to remind myself, girl, take a deep breath. What did they do? Like, what's really upsetting you? So you got to dig deep, figure out what it is that's draining you, cut those things out of your life, and make sure that you're making time for yourself. Date yourself. Take yourself out to go get food. Take yourself out to go get your hair done. Take yourself out to the park. Girl, take yourself out for a hot girl walk. Like, literally put on your little headphones, listen to an audiobook and go out for a walk. Like, you need to be doing things for you. And I will reiterate that time and time again. The best thing I have ever done was put myself first. And obviously, I know that you should also co-create with God, the universe, your higher self. It's not obviously all just about you. Being selfish is another thing. I'm not saying to be 100% selfish, but I am kind of saying be a little bit selfish in that you are not prioritizing other people above yourself, because ultimately you are the most important person in your life, and you should be. And nobody should make you feel guilty of that. I hope that you all have a fantastic day and know that you deserve to be number one in your life. If you are enjoying this podcast, I trust that you will give it a like and comment down below what are some ways that you pour into your cup. Catch you in the next one.